Toronto real estate took a bit of a beating in the press last week when the January market stats were released. And yes, depending on which metrics you were focused on, some of the numbers didn't look good. And I hate to say it, but those same numbers are going to look even worse in February and March. In this video, we're going to take a look at the January market stats, focusing specifically on the average sale price. I'm going to show you how that number has been fueling some of the negative headlines we've been seeing, but I'm also going to put that number into context so that you can see there's more to it than what the headlines would suggest. My name is Jason Bondy-Sawyer. My wife Danielle and I are realtors here in the city of Toronto. If you'd like to see more of our videos, please subscribe to the channel and you can hit the like button as well. Now, if you have a real estate question or you're thinking of making a move, you can book a meeting with us in the link down in the description. So I want to start by taking a look at one of the biggest headlines we saw last week. Now, this is from the Toronto Star and the headline reads, GTA average home prices plunge at rate not seen since the 1990s. Higher interest rates and last year's price growth led to a record 16.4% drop in January. So it might not be clear to everyone, but that headline is focusing specifically on the year-over-year change in average sale price. So they're looking at the average sale price in January 2023. They're comparing that to a year ago, the average sale price in January 2022. But you have to look back and remember where we were a year ago. Interest rates were still crazy low because remember, the rate hikes didn't start until March. And supply was extremely low as well, with less than 1 month of inventory. I remember January and February last year very well. It was probably one of the craziest markets I've ever seen in terms of tons of hungry buyers out there and nowhere near enough supply to satisfy the demand. So those two things combined, super low rates, super low supply, contributed to January taking a big jump in prices compared to where values were at the end of 2021. So we are now over a year away from that market, and we're obviously in a very different rate environment. And yes, prices have had a big adjustment, but I want to add a bit more context to that number by showing you a different metric. This time, not the year-over-year average price change, but rather the month-over-month average price change. So I'm going to show you a chart here with the last 13 months worth of activity in the GTA. So here we are back in January 2022 at 1,242,000. And here we are today in January 2023 at 1,038,000. So that's the 16.4% drop that we were talking about earlier. But you can also see that this 1,038,000 is roughly in line with the 7 months that preceded it. So 1,074,000 in July, 1,079,000 in August, and so on. In other words, the bulk of the price adjustments took place in the first half of the year, and the average sale price has actually been relatively stable now for 7 months in a row. So that could have been the headline, right? Average sale price relatively stable now for 7 months in a row. But if you were a news publication trying to get clicks, is that the one you would go with? No, you'd look at the year-over-year comparison, isolated on its own without any context, because that headline is certainly much more attention-grabbing. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, we are going to see similar headlines in February and March. And actually, those numbers are going to be even worse because the average sale price in February, March 2022 was even higher than it was in January. So when those headlines come out in the next few months, just remember, they're not telling the whole story. All right, we would love to know what you think. If you have any thoughts that you'd like to share on the January market stats, please leave a comment down below. That's it for now, and we'll see you in the next video.